This is how I missed tons of footage in the moment.
Yes, because he was supposedly recording, but he was not recording nothing. I was like, you know you're not recording, right? He's like, yeah, I'm not recording you. No, you know you're not recording at all, right?
Yep. Well, it's kind of good that I'm not recording because now I can ask the question.
But let me tell you this: you better not make that same mistake when I'm giving birth, because I'm gonna jack you up.
I'm gonna be.
You better be
Listen,
you better be straight.
Not one sip of wine. All right, dead serious. I'm gonna be reading the scriptures to my child.
You can celebrate at the end.
No, babe, but seriously, I'm gonna be reading the scriptures to my child as he coming out, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm the one to,
Yeah, guys, because look, I'm gonna kick his ass. See you soon.
Shalom Israel, Shalom Yasha Allah. This is your wed time. Yahweh Za'aim, Council of the People. This is my wife.
You already know me. Bush Lady, or whatever.
Fire Lady.
Whole bunch of nicknames is good. I'm cool.
Right. And today we're giving a testimony. The scriptures talks about testimonies, and we wanted to give a testimony about our journey being with child. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize, unless you personally know us, is that we've been married over 11 years and haven't been able to really...
A long time.
Yeah.
My goodness, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But it actually feels always like, it's like, what, like, maybe, like 4 years to me? It don't feel like it's that long, not to me.
It depends, you know what I mean? And all praises to the Most High for Wadi Yahweh Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahushai, that we've been blessed recently, despite the pandemic and the pestilence that the Most High been bringing down on the earth and all of that stuff. We've been actually blessed to be with child, with a boy at that, a son. And for a lot of people who personally know us, it's a celebration, for blood relatives, family members, co-workers, and family in the truth, our spiritual family. For those of you who know us personally, celebrated Feast of Tabernacles with us, visited our congregations and all of that stuff. It's a celebration.
So you cannot speak about children without the first part, which is marriage, right?
Right.
So we met when I was coming from my job doing the second shift. And I came, and I used to actually get very, very along with his brother. We used to talk all the time. I knew his brother before I knew him.
Yes.
So when I'm coming in to the lobby, I kicked it with his brother, kicked it with him. And when I saw him, before I kicked it with him, I was like, hey, hi, why you look so sad? You look so, down. You okay? He was like, put a smile on your face. And I started joking, and then he started smiling. He was looking a little bit like down, like he'll look down every now and then. Later on, I come to find out he said I didn't have a haircut that day. So I was like, okay, but he was still very, casual, greeted me and everything. And I was very alone with his brother, like I said. So after that, I went upstairs, and then he told me that his brother started talking to him about me.
And actually, my brother was talking to me about her. Before that incident, my brother was telling me, because my brother hated my ex at that time, and my brother was like, yo, you need to get with a girl that's like you be in your Bible stuff and everything like that, and I'm telling you, it's this girl on my job, yo, I'm telling you, she is for you, man, she a church girl, she just like you, bro, I'm telling you. Like, that was my brother Tex, you know what I'm saying? He got like a DMX type of voice sometimes.
Yeah. The job that I had at the time, it was always almost like meant for us to actually meet each other.
Yeah.
And I will be in the same places where his security company at the time that he worked on, one of his jobs was security.
Mm-hmm.
I will be going to the same sites. We had adult daycares in the same facilities where he was doing security. So I will always be passing him by, not knowing who is he, like not even thinking or registering his face.
Yeah,
until that day.
I was working security, so a lot of the security sites that I had, the security company I was working for was dealing with the same management company that owned various properties that she used to work for.
So even now, let's rewind it even a little bit further back. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Arranged marriage by
Arranged marriage by Yah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's talk about that.
So I would say almost about 2 years before me meeting my wife, before me dealing with my ex, when I was still a virgin in the truth.
Not in the flesh, in the truth, all right?
Flesh. Why I say that? Because when I came into the truth and I learned that sex was marriage, I was celibate.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I was celibate for almost 5 years. So at this time,
literally celibate, guys.
Yeah.
Not even your friend.
A group of us.
That's what he said.
A group of us had left the original congregation that I learned the truth from, called HYK, and we was on the verge of starting our own camp at the time, and we was congregating with some Israelite brothers who learned the truth outside of One West doctrine. I was attending those congregations, and there was a brother that I got real close to named Simeon, and shout out Simeon. And
Thanks, Simeon.
you know, at the time I was working about two jobs. One of the jobs required me to work on the Sabbath nights. The 2 jobs I was working, one of them was at my college that I was attending at that time, and I had so many women trying to get at me back then, and I was burning. 5 years, no panani. And
No good.
I was so tempted to just fall into anything. So when I came upstairs after praying, which was the Sabbath night, I was on my way to work. My phone rang immediately, boom, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. And the first thought that came to my head was, oh, the Most High was probably trying to talk to me. So I picked up the phone, and it was the brother Simeon, and the brother Simeon said, listen, I don't know what it was, but I was praying like I normally do for the Sabbath night, and a spirit just got on me, and it was like the Most High was telling me to call you. And I was like, wow, that's funny, because I was just praying, and I was praying for the Most High to answer my call, you know. So he was like, well, listen, what the Most High put on my spirit, he told me to tell you, stop working on the Sabbath.
That's always a test. That's one of the many Israelite moments tests.
So my excuse was, listen, brothers, mercy and grace, I need to get this money. You know, I'm sorry, I can't stop working on the Sabbath. He said, I'm telling you, the Most High said, whatever it is you looking for, whatever it is you trying to be, I don't know what you pray to the Most High for, but whatever it is that you was praying to him for, he said he gonna bless you with it if you stop working on the Sabbath. So long story short, I took heed to it. I stopped working on the Sabbath, and I quit my job that had me working on the Sabbath, and I ended up getting a different security job that didn't require me to work on the Sabbath. It actually only required me to work 3 days out of the week to get 40 hours. Most hood job ever.
You know,
and that was the job that I ended up meeting my wife.
And that comes to actually say, blessings sometimes don't come right away.
Exactly.
You could be praying for something, and you think that the Most High has to answer it like this, and that brings us up to date.
Right.
But sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's very key pointers that you have to bring out. It's just you will have to go back and forth into time and just grabbing a little bit here and a little bit there, just so that way you guys can get the overall picture of our relationship and why we believe that we are meant to be together, and we don't believe in divorce. That's unacceptable in our eyes. And now we could continue to the future. So after that, me and my husband, we got together, we got married. And after we got married, we both did not believe in contraceptives. We believed in be fruitful and multiply. So
it's not that I didn't believe in that. It's more so that I believe what the scriptures say. It's like you lay with a woman that's your wife So I was prepared for anything that came after us laying together.
Yeah.
It was like, look, she already my wife. So why fear getting married according to Esau?
Yeah.
Why fear having a child? Why fear all of that? That's my wife.
Yeah. So we got married and we started just being active like bunnies, like everybody else that get together. You just having fun, the time of your life. You're, for lack of a better word, you're screwing like crazy. And then over time we started noticing that nothing was happening.
Well, actually, she started noticing. I was just still having fun.
Yeah.
What probably was going through my mind was like, I wasn't really thinking about children at that time. I was like, my mind frame was like, if it comes. You know, so like I was enjoying, making love. You know, so I was definitely enjoying that. I was enjoying being a newlywed, moving into our first home together. And when she first started,
you wanted to have sex in a carpet without no furniture?
Listen, it is what it is. But when she first started showing concerns about not getting pregnant, my thought on it was like, nobody gets pregnant right away.
Yeah.
We only been married 1 year or 2 years. Like, some people would take 5 years just to get pregnant.
Yeah.
So my thought was like, yo, don't stress about it. The Most High gonna bless us when He bless us with it.
But me being a woman, at the end of the day, that we kind of have the tendency of taking matters into our own hands. I was doing, this is gonna sound weird, but I was looking into like different ways of how to get pregnant. I was doing the upside down leg thing. I was doing the staying on your back for like a whole hour, not going to even take a piss thing. I was doing the things that even gorillas do after they have sex. I was I was trying everything. I tried everything so much to the point that I was like, there's something really going on here. There's a problem. So by then I was like about 25. When I was working in one of the jobs, well, the job that I was working actually at the time, I was standing by the door and I saw this Edomite lady, and she had a little tiny baby, and she was treating the baby like it was her baby. And I was looking at her and I'm like, hi,
she was an older lady too.
Yeah, she was an older Edomite lady. I'm talking about old lady. And I was like, hey, that's your baby? And she was like, oh yeah, this is my baby. And she immediately started talking about how she couldn't get pregnant, about how she tried everything under the sun, that she spent all this money, going to different, gynecologists, getting different tests done, and nobody could actually come out with a solution to why she couldn't get pregnant until she ran into this doctor. And she spoke so much about this doctor, and oh my goodness, and he's great. And then I started opening up, because whenever you're a person that you are going through that struggle, once you find somebody you could relate to, which is so difficult to find because everybody seems to be having freaking babies like bunnies. You know how they be talking about like Easter eggs, like bunnies and Easter eggs? You're looking around you, all of your friends from school, they all had kids already. All of your friends out of school had kids already. All of the friends that you met in your lifetime till that time had kids already. And you haven't had no kids yet. So when you find somebody that is going through the same struggle, you have an instant connection. And even though she was Esau and I was Israel, like I was able to connect with her in that level. I ended up actually going to visit the doctor. And while I was about to visit the doctor, I had to make an appointment because he gets booked, really booked. And the manager that was in that store at the time, she told me, listen, if that doctor doesn't work, I'm telling you, I have a great doctor. He took care of all of my kids' births, and he's a specialist. That's what he do. My cousin couldn't get pregnant, and he got her pregnant, and there's so many people that he see, and that's what he do. I'm telling you, if that doctor doesn't work, I got the perfect doctor for you. And I'm like, okay, well, this person couldn't have kids, so and she personally, spend a lot of money and with many other places trying to get pregnant. So I just want to try her doctor first. So I go to the doctor, beautiful office. It's all Northerners. It's all Simeon there. They're all Simeon, right, baby?
Yeah, no,
they're all Dominican over there.
It was actually, I don't want to say, oh, you talking about the staff?
Yeah, the staff.
Yeah. No, the staff.
If it wasn't Simeon, it was Judah.
It was like all northern. It was all Israel, but for the most part, northern tribes.
Yeah.
And then it was also Judah as well.
Yeah, sprinkled Judah, and then he was, he was Ishmael. He was very conscious too about. He's always saw me with my head covering, my long,
and he's Muslim, so then. When we told him we was Israel and stuff like that, he was very sensitive about our faith and everything like that. Very respectful.
He did not touch me until the day that I had to get a cleanser done. But before that day, he never used to touch me. He always had the girls. He had all of them was girls in the office and the staff. Anybody that would touch you, check you, they're all girls. I just got tired of going really to doctors and them not knowing what was wrong with me. And they'll do checkouts and be like, oh, everything looks good, you're fine.
And then send you back home.
And then they send me back home, and I used to be like, no, like there's something wrong, and nobody's really like finding it. And it was very frustrating. We spent a lot of money before we met Haddad.
Like, I understand the frustration of Abraham and Sarah. I understand the frustration of the sister Hannah, who was the mother of Samuel. You know what I'm saying?
I cried so many nights praying, asking God to
wake up in the middle of the night crying.
Yeah, asking God, why, or is it possible? Like, if you don't want to, then just show me a son that you just not going to.
That's why I thought that it was very important to even push for that, going to the hospital, going to go see a specialist, which the Most High made it, which she ended up running into somebody who was able to refer us. And I was like, I knew, like, hey, whatever they want us to do, I'm going to do it 100%, because, at the end of the day, no husband want their wife to be sad. You know what I'm saying? Like as a husband, the scripture tell you, husbands, love your wives like the way Yahushua loved the church. You know what I'm saying? So Yahushua died for the church, man. So how much more of me, just wanting my wife to be happy? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, listen, I'm going to do whatever it takes to support my wife in this journey so we could explore all options, man. You know, that was my thing.
Yeah. So I ended up going to the doctor's visit. So then he just like, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this blood work. And you're going to have an appointment. You're going to get a sperm count for him. And every appointment that we had, we went together. And I cannot stress it more. If you're trying to get pregnant, this is a support system. Not only for yourself, but for each other. Because even when he went to go get the sperm count, that was hilarious.
It was, it
was an interesting experience.
It was kind of like to eliminate the possibility.
Yeah.
That's why I did it. I was like, listen, I feel like I'm good, but I want to eliminate the possibility, because if I'm not, then we need to know.
So you go in there and you sign out your name, you give them your appointment sheet. Then after that, they're going to give you a little cup, and then they have all of these rooms. When you get inside of the room, there's going to be like a comfortable chair. There's going to be another chair, because that way,
A room in the magazines to spill some sperm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give the more elaborated version, right? And then after that, we went back to the doctor's office. He had the results, but then before we had the results for his sperm count, the doctor wanted to do, I forgot the exact professional name for it, but he wanted to pretty much put me to sleep, do a scrape on my whole uterus lining, and throw the dye into it to see the width of it, see where do the tracks lead, see the shape of the uterus, so on and so forth.
And that was also because he discovered the cysts and all this.
Well, yeah. So before that, he did an ultrasound with something that looks like a microphone. They put it in there, and they look for your ovaries, and he found on both of my ovaries that I had ovarian cysts. So I was diagnosed with PCOS. So I was like, okay, but he gave me this metformin pills, and he was like, take these pills, we're gonna attack it aggressively, because I have some decent sized cysts. So we was treating it very aggressively, 1,000 milligrams of metformin. For anybody that knows, for a diabetic person, you may take 250. You may take maybe 500. I was taking 1,000. That's to treat the ovarian cyst, called PCOS. So I did
stressing.
Yeah, I would get dizzy. The medication, I was so sick from it, but it worked. It controlled my PCOS, put it really nice under control. And they did all of these tubes. It was like a vampire. They took all of this blood out of me to test everything under the moon, including even him, to do compatibility. Compatibility is very important. You got to make sure that your blood and her blood actually matches, that it will be compatible to have a baby. So they did even that.
I didn't know about none of that stuff. I was just letting them take blood.
Yeah, it was just like, what do you want me to do next? Okay, baby, you okay? Yeah, baby. Okay, let's get what goes next. So I go to the surgery. I'm very, very nervous. You know, I'm like super nervous. He was right there. He was like, baby, it's okay. You know, I'm right here. When you come back out, I'll be right there waiting for you.
And this is like, the surgery to scrape
uterus. So they put me in. I was shaking. They strapped me into the bed, and I was like shaking so bad. It was like, it's okay. And I was like, well, when they gonna put me to sleep? And it was like, oh, you're already there. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. Just count backwards. And I was like, whoop. And I was gone. So after that, time passed. I was going through the healing process, and we go to the doctor's appointment. When we get there, he says, so I got great news, right? You got a beautiful sperm count. Yeah, this is the doctor. Yeah. So I get to the doctor's appointment, and he's like, I got great news. You have a great sperm count. You know, you just need to be more hydrated. So that way, you know, because it is kind of like condensed, but hydrated, you know, about a gallon a day, you will be straight, right?
Yeah, but they said I had like 1 million of them little mugs.
Yeah, they said he's ready. He's ready and aiming. So, yeah, so... And then with and with you, I did the dye, and we found something very interesting. You have a condition called unicorn uterus. So he tried to give it as quick as possible. So he was like, yeah, you have a condition called unicorn uterus. Pretty much you're like 1 in 1,000 women. And he sounded so interested and excited about it.
Because for him
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Yes, for him it's not new, but it's a challenge. And then I was like, trying not to cry. He was like, no, don't cry, it's okay. No, listen, we're gonna get through this together. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna get pregnant, you're gonna have your baby. Trust me, I'm gonna do everything under my power. We're gonna work things out. And then after that, he was like, listen, I treated girls before with it, and you know, we can make it work. You know, I know that there is a lot on the plate right now. You have the PCOS, you have the unicorn uterus, but we could work with this. And then he was like, you know what, I'm gonna give you a moment and I'll be right back, because he noticed it was kind of like, it was overwhelming for me. So for anybody that don't know the details of about a unicorn uterus, right? A unicorn uterus, pretty much you have a half a uterus, right? Sometimes you may have a half and a little tube with an ovary hanging somewhere in there. Or in my case, I had the half of it, one ovary, one fallopian tube attached to it, and somewhere swimming in there, somehow attached, still in the same position, I had an ovary. After that, he gave me the break. Oh, and the MRI is because your organs, anybody that has that condition, their organs might come half of it. So if you have like 2 kidneys, you know, you have 1. Lungs, you can have 1. But I did the MRI and I came clear of all of those. I just have the condition with the uterus alone. When I came back, he started trying to regulate my period. So we started going with a lot of the hormones. I was at metformin, then I started doing these hormones. He was first counting my days to count my period, and then after that, he put me in the hormones then for 3 days. It was 2 different type of hormones. The last one that was 3 days, it was to really mature the eggs to see the outcome of it. When I went to the doctor's office for the visit for that, I was really excited because he told me, you're making eggs, so we're gonna make this a checkup to see if you're maturing the eggs. But when I came back and he looked at my eggs, they called him into the office. So they first was doing the measurement. And then they call him into the office, and then he was checking with the measurements, and then he was like, I was looking at the screen, and he was like, that's interesting, and that's never good. That's so never good. So he looked at the eggs, and he said, you know, we're gonna try this again, and we're gonna double the amount of the hormones, because your eggs are not maturing. You have eggs, you're producing eggs, that's why you're getting your periods, but they're not maturing. So what happens is that when you don't mature, when your eggs come out, but they're not mature, they cannot get fertilized. And I was like, I'm done. I want a break. I'm tired. During that time, that's when my father ended up dying. He passed away. And that was like the last job. And I was like, I'm taking a break. I can't do this no more. And that takes us to Feast of Tabernacles. And get very inspired when it comes to just seeking the moment.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
You said it.
And we had just the greatest Feast of Tabernacle ever, you know?
Yep. One of the most memorable
Yeah,
Feast of Tabernacles.
it really was. It really was. I really loved that year. It was great. I will never change it for nothing in the world. And when I came back from Feast of Tabernacles a month later, I was pregnant. So I resumed my checkups and everything with the doctor. And he was excited, and we was excited, and he was like, finally you got pregnant. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then, you know, he was about to put me in a medical leave of absence, because he did it because of my condition. He wanted me to have a lot of bed rest. He was like, the first few months, it's definitely going to be very uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
You have half of the space that the average girl has.
He knew from the very beginning, because she only has half of a uterus, that any little mistake
could cause
us
to lose
the baby. And from the very beginning, he wanted her to be on bed rest. He didn't want her working, anything like that.
Meanwhile, he getting ready for all the paperwork. I'm still going to work. I'm doing great. Pregnancy is going great. I'm excited. I'm telling everybody about the pregnancy because I couldn't believe it myself. And I dropped him off
Some
at
of
work.
y'all might remember that. We dropped it on Facebook.
Yeah,
Everybody
saying I'll see you in 9 months.
excited.
Everybody got excited. The baby was already 9 weeks. And it was looking great. The pregnancy was looking perfect. And I go drop him off at work. When I'm coming from dropping him off at work, people in front of me got into a car accident. I hit the brakes really hard to avoid the car accident. And then after that, as I'm driving to my job, I just feel this gush of stuff just coming out. And I feel like super wet. I walk to the bathroom as quick and careful as possible. And when I go to the bathroom, I'm bleeding brown. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then I tell him, I gotta go. I take my stuff, I clock back out, I put a whole bunch of tissue. And I get in the car and I drive myself to the hospital. As I'm driving to the hospital, I'm crying. I call him on the phone. You know, he's like, just go straight to the hospital. I'll meet you there. I'm leaving right now. And I was in the hospital waiting. Over there, they treated me like a dog. They didn't understand my condition. They pushed my stomach all the way around. They treated me like, oh, she could take it. Like, it's just a pregnancy. And they didn't understand the condition that I have. It requires for them to, even when they touch me, you cannot add pressure and things like that because of the size of my uterus. Yeah. So after that, you know, the lady finally couldn't find the baby, so she did the vaginal one. When she did the vaginal one, I'm like looking and I'm trying to look and I hear the baby heartbeat and I'm looking and then she turns the monitor and she was like, oh, you cannot see the baby. And I'm like, what do you mean I cannot see the baby? It's my baby. Like, I want to see him. I want to make sure that he's all right. He's like, no, just like it's hospital policy, you know. And she said some stuff like that. And then it had the heartbeat and I could hear the heartbeat, but then she muted the heartbeat too. And I was very emotional. Because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see him again. You know, that's my baby and you're holding me back from seeing him. It could be the last time that I see him, you know. And what I did, I started looking at the baby through her eyeglasses. So that's what I did in order to see my baby. And they put the microphone to check. And she was like, the baby is not there. You sure it didn't come out? And I was like, no, it was in there. Like, it didn't come out, just blood came out. And then she was looking and she was like, yeah, but I don't see him. And then when she did like this, she was like, I was like, go back in again. And then she went back in again. When she was taking it out, she went back in again. And I was like, right there. And then she was like, oh. And then it was like the baby was coming out literally when she was moving the microphone. You could see the baby coming out. And then she was like, oh my goodness. And then she was like, she pulled it out. And when she pulled it out, the baby came out. And then she was like, I'm going to give you guys a second. You know, I'll be back. And then she left the room. And then I was crying. And, you know, and I got out from the chair. And I had like put tissue and everything like that to like stop the bleeding. And like the baby was there in top of the counter where I was laying down. And then after that, you know, my husband hugged me and he was very supportive again of me. And that's the importance of husbands being there with situations like that, because it's very emotional. Like, it's very emotional. Your hormones is changing. You know, it's difficult to handle certain things. And that's where having that man, you know, with that strength around you, that's where it comes in handy. You know, and after that, he took me home and everything like that. And, you know, and we kind of just took a break after that from trying to have a baby, because it was very traumatizing for me.
Literally, that was our first time.
And that was our first pregnancy.
Our first time. And at that time, I think like 8 or 9 years married.
Yeah.
Our first time being pregnant.
Actually, yeah, 8 years. 8 years. When I started giving up, he actually kind of like picked up the slack, because it was kind of like, there is hope, you know, you could get pregnant. We find out the problem and everything like that. So then it was kind of like I was giving up on it, and then it was kind of like he started being like, nah, we could do this, you know, and he will like make certain meals for me, like healthy meals and healthy choices, you know, and always kind of like, you know, like, don't give up on it. You had it once, you can have it again. We could do this, you know, and really like cheer me up. You know, and it worked, and I got pregnant twice. Both of the times I lost the baby, because again, my immune system drops, and I will be coughing, and I will, the baby, between the fever and coughing, I will lose the baby. What happened is that I'm a gamer. I'm really big in games. The people that knows me knows that. And I'm playing the video game, and I'm coughing, and then I'm feeling really, really sick. And as I'm playing the game, I stop the game. I tell the guys in the game, like, I'll be right back. And I'm really close. I'm like this with like my online, you know, gamers or whatever, my friends online. So I check myself, and I'm bleeding. And I'm like, let's just freaking kill this crap. Now I'm sick like a dog, and I got my period. Perfect. So I go ahead and I put a pad. And then I go back and I'm gaming again, all sick. And they're like, yo, you just need a break. You need some rest. And I'm like, I can't sleep. He's not home. I can't sleep. So then after that, I go back and I'm like going to like use the bathroom. But when I use the bathroom, I have no blood on the pad. Yo, I cough, I bleed, I stop coughing, I stop bleeding. And then it just hit me. And I was like, and I told my friend, I was like, oh my goodness. I told my friend online, I was like, I think that I'm pregnant. And he's like, no. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, no. Yo, Sooks, you're pregnant? And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, I'm about to call my husband right now, tell him to bring like 5 pregnancy tests to really, really check if I'm pregnant or not. And that's how he ended up getting the pregnancy test. Like
then COVID came out.
And then COVID came out after that. You know, after that, I was good. I was doing the appointments, everything with the doctor. He was excited. I was excited all over again. He was excited. You know, we was all happy. And then the cold shit happened. And now I'm like, what the hell? There's this illness that is coming out. And called coronavirus. And I remember we was like, what the hell? By then, you know, my sister, when it was like in the early stages, before the lockdown in New York happened, before all of this happened, she said, listen, just leave Jersey. Just leave Jersey. Because things is not looking good over there. So literally within one day, we made the choice. It was kind of like, we do it or we don't do it. We even called the elder Madaf. And we told him to get advice on it. And he was like, if you have a window, take it. You know, just go for it. And then it was kind of like we looked at each other and we was like, let's do it. And we took a 17-hour trip from New Jersey all the way to Alabama.
Yep, in our little mobile home.
In our little mobile home. And that's how we are here right now. The Most High has still blessed us, still allowed us till right now. And the Most High give and the Most High take. Even if He do decide to take my child away from me, I do not question the Most High. You understand? Because again, the Most High gives and the Most High takes for whatever purpose. He only knows the purpose. But till now, 7 months pregnant and still kicking, literally. And we're gonna see where this journey takes us. You know, we're excited right now at this point. You know, and so far 7 months. You know, he can make it even if he comes out premature. He can still make it. So we're very excited. We have baby stuff. Everybody, thank you for everybody that have gone to the registry and got things for the baby in the registry. If you haven't gotten the registry and haven't got nothing, still more than welcome to go ahead and get something.
Right.
Still
And I just want to give this message to Israel to let you know that listen, man, there's so many elements that's going against us.
Yeah.
You know, genocide, eugenics. You know, them trying to poison the water, Flint, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Lead. You know, so many chemicals in this world, things that's against us, that like we are living dead people right now. You understand? Because Esau and the powers that be has been trying to kill us from day one. So don't think that it's something unrighteous by going to go see like a specialist, you know. Even though we got pregnant on our own, we ain't have to have nobody take my sperm and inject it, none of that stuff, no surgery. We got pregnant on our own. The Most High blessed us with it. In order for that to happen, the Most High also blessed the doctor with knowledge to eliminate certain obstacles, the physician with knowledge to eliminate certain obstacles that was hindering us also. All of the obstacles against us, the COVID, the blood clots, the half of uterus, the PCOS, and all of that stuff, the Most High blessed it where this child has been strong enough to endure all of that. The
even
child,
almost losing it when I was sick. The travel for the 17 hours.
The child even knows to stay on one side of the uterus.
He always stays on my right
so,
side.
You know,
to the point that it even hurts, I be pushing him like,
hey,
get
man,
up,
so
move.
the Most High, man, all praises to the Most High by Shalom Israel This, you know.
And it's been a long journey, 11 years. 11 years it's been in this journey to get pregnant. And finally, 11 years later.
I think it's 12 now.
No, it's 11. It's gonna be 12 now on the 4th. It's 11.
Okay.
Right. Thank you for listening, for everybody that was listening. If you have any questions, you know, I'm gonna put the name of the doctor, the telephone number right below. Any sisters, I highly recommend.
I'll put like a picture of his car right here.
So guys, thank you for listening, and all praises to the Most High that allowed us to be pregnant now.